This is very personal. For the longest time, I never wanted to talk about this.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome back to the Ramos Family Channel.
The Ramos Family Channel. Today, we are back again with another mukbang. With a twist, though. We will be doing our first story time ever. Ever. So, what better mukbang than to do it with Papa John's?
Papa John's.
We got a barbecue, chicken, grilled chicken and bacon Papa John's pizza with. This is called the Brian and Noemi twist. The honey mustard dipping sauce with your pizza. Try it; it will change your life forever.
So good.
So good. I don't even like honey mustard, and it's awesome. I guess I do like it then, right? Mm-hmm. So without further ado, we will begin eating, and we'll begin story time. This story time will be
our first fight ever.
I wouldn't say our first fight. I would say our most severe fight that we ever had.
Yeah.
The biggest argument that we had.
Like the worst fight ever.
Yeah, the first biggest argument that we had.
And I'm not even gonna lie to you, but this is like an extreme TMI. Like this is something very personal about our lives.
I don't think much people that know us close even know about this.
Yeah, like this is very personal. For the longest time, I never wanted to talk about this, and I really don't talk about it with a lot of people. Ernest doesn't either, so we're kind of putting it out there as something very, very personal that we're gonna tell you guys. But we're past that stage already. Couple years later, but it was the worst fight, and I can't even believe that we freaking got through it.
That was like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, but it was bad.
Yeah, just think about it, guys. The Ramos family would have never been, and we didn't get plates.
Like that's how we don't have plates. That's like
what? Plates. Now you gotta go get plates because I think we really don't have plates now. That's embarrassing.
I meant like we don't have plastic plates.
Look at this pizza, guys. Oh my god.
We don't have plastic plates, but we have plates, guys.
We got plates, guys. Plenty of plates, so don't think we're just some freaking rats eating off of a napkin.
Alright, so starting off, basically, I just want to say that I was in a very, like, what led to this argument and this huge fight and this huge thing was I was in a very, like, low place in my life. I was on birth control. Everyone that knows me, I had, like, super bad, really bad depression while I was on birth control. I was always sad. I always felt alone. Even I felt even separated from Ernest. So that is like what started the huge, like the big, and it went on for months before I finally exploded. Before I finally exploded, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm tired of feeling alone. What's the point of being with you if I just feel alone? And
a lot of people, when we first meet a lot of people, or people ask us a lot, how was it, when you guys first lived together, when you guys first moved in together, like, did you guys have any arguments? And that always crosses our minds when people ask us. And now that I think about it, that was probably close to the time that you officially moved in with us and my parents. So
yeah, it was maybe like a year or two later.
After you moved in?
A year later. Yeah,
no, it was pretty recent. It was pretty recent. It was probably less than that. She had recently moved in with me and my parents, and anybody who knows especially my dad, he was very hesitant about the whole thing to begin with already. The idea of having, of course, my girlfriend at the time living with us, and that whole deal. So I obviously sat down with my dad, talked to him, and all that was talked about. But I guess the fact that me and Amy had never lived together, we always, anybody who knows us, we had a long distance relationship. So maybe us living together and not used to being like seeing each other that often is what kind of sparked us like not like it was literally like what like work, go home, and like we couldn't like stand each other. There was a point where we literally couldn't stand each other.
Yeah, and every single night, like I'm telling you, like the depression got so bad. It got to me so bad that you remember every single night I would literally cry. Every night, like I had these huge tantrums where I would just throw myself on the floor and I would just cry. Like it was crazy. And also because I was also going through like very bad, like moving in with you and you know, like being separated from my parents and my parents getting a divorce and all that stuff. I feel like that's something that I'm always gonna live with, but it was really bad at that time. And Ernest has always been the one that has been there for me. So with him not, like I didn't feel like he wasn't there for me. So
I think I can explain a little better. So basically, since I was the only person that she had at the time, and probably till this day, she can, you know, say I can go to you and talk to you about anything, or you're always gonna be there for me no matter what. The moment me and her, and I felt even though I have a lot of people that I can go to, the only person that I really want to go to is her. So it was kind of a mutual thing to where, like when we're not on good how can I use
terms.
Yeah, when we're not on good terms, I basically feel like I could probably speak for her as well, that I feel like our world is like crashing down on us. Like we have nobody, like there's like no point in living and this type of shit. Like that's how it was, you know, of course before Sophia. That's how it was, because
it was just me and him. At the end of the day, we lived with his parents, but when that door of that room closed, it was just me and him. Mm-hmm. All our thoughts were just between me and him. Everything was just between me and him. When it happened, when I blew up, I didn't want to be near him anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. I gave up.
Let's get into specifics, like how everything happened, like how we...
It's been so long.
I know. For the most part, so I don't know exactly what started off the whole thing, but
it's just
we had been arguing all that day that this happened, that like our argument happened. We had been arguing since the morning, like over text. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was at work, she was at work, and we were just texting back and forth all day. And by the way, anytime you guys have any disagreements with your, you know, with your significant other or spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, brother, sister, doesn't matter. Texting is definitely not the way to communicate. It's the worst way to communicate. And I think we learned that the hard way. You know, anytime we have any disagreements or anything, we always try to
like call each other or something.
Yeah, call each other because
I'll like call you and go off on you, because that's just the best way to express yourself. One, maybe the way that you're texting, that's not really what you mean, and the other person takes it the wrong way. That's how I am. Like, if you're super dry with me, I'm like, okay, you don't want to talk to me. Like, that's just how I am. But maybe that's just how you are. That's just the way you text. Texting is not the way to go.
At that time, Amy was working at Metro. I was working at Alto, of course. You would get home before me. She would get home before me. But that day in specific, or maybe we got home around the same. No, actually, you got home after me. You would stay till 7. Remember, you stayed till close Metro. So when this whole argument sparked, I wish we could get to specifics of what it was about, but she kind of covered it. It was just basically we felt like we weren't there for each other. We felt like there was no point of being together because we weren't supporting each other. We weren't being there for each other. So it was something along those lines. So that day, you know, Amy got really mad, and she ended up leaving work that day. So she beat me home. Obviously, you know, of course, she beat me home that day. Of course, I didn't leave work early because I had I didn't know that she had left work early that day. And
so I left work early, and I remember him texting me like, come over here to the house or whatever. And I already had made up my mind that I'm leaving. Like, I'm gonna pack up all my stuff and I'm leaving. Sophia, go ahead. That I'm gonna pack up all my stuff and leave. And of course, he didn't want that. Like, why would you want that, you know? So I got all, I literally, like, I went back home and I packed up all my stuff. You remember? I packed up all my stuff. It was like a mess. I packed up all my stuff. I put it in the car that I had. and I literally left to Miami, which is where my brother lived and my mom lived and all that.
So she basically didn't know what the hell she was going over there to.
I really didn't.
Because she didn't have nowhere to crash. With your mom at the time, with your brother, with your half brother, right?
No, I don't remember very well who my mom was with. I don't know too much, but I ended up leaving to Miami, and in Miami, I ended up leaving my car somewhere. Like the 2-3 days that I was there, I ended up leaving my car somewhere that it wasn't supposed to be parked.
You weren't there 2-3 days.
Yeah, I was.
No.
Yes, I was.
I remember what the next day. So Amy that day left. They responded to my messages. They responded to my calls. I didn't know anything of her. I didn't know where she went. I didn't know anything at all. So the next morning, I remember this because I was at work. The next morning, I'm in one of my breaks at work. I'm in the break room.
Oh, I remember. I called you.
And I get a call from her. And in my mind, I'm like, I've been trying to call her, message her this whole time. I'm not gonna pick it up. So I don't. I forward the call. Playing hard at this point, obviously, because all the times that I called her and texted her, she didn't answer. So I'm doing the same thing. I didn't text her, and then she sends me a message, basically saying, "Oh, answer the phone, this and that." So I answer the phone. She's bawling out, crying. To make matters worse, like I was saying before, like the whole world was crashing down on her. Like she tells me, "Oh, like my car is like about to get towed or something," right?
No, it got towed. I had to pay $120 to get it back.
Yeah. So to make matters worse, when she went to Miami,
the only money that I had in my account was like, I think $120, and that's exactly what I had to give to get my car back. And I called him because who else? At the end of the day, who else was I gonna call? Who else was gonna be there for me? And what did you end up doing? I don't even remember. I think we just ended up talking, and like every night I would cry and cry and cry because all I wanted to do was just go back to him.
Yeah, and it was a tough situation for me because, of course, I didn't own a house at the time. I lived with my parents. As worried as I was, and as pissed as I was, my parents were as worried and as pissed as I was. So it was kind of the thing, like.
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't enjoy and that I didn't like was that.
That was very hard.
The only person that understood me kind of was his mom. His dad didn't understand me. And your sister too, like she just completely. You remember? You remember your sister also ended up turning on me, like telling me a whole bunch of stuff, like super mean things, and I really couldn't. I wasn't gonna sit there and explain to her what it was that had happened between us, because at the end of the day, the only people that understood what was going between us were me and him. And it was even sadder the fact that they turned against me. The only person that that understood it somewhat was his mom. And yeah. Oh my God, you're so heavy, you chunky baby.
Because my dad, my dad is very, very old school when it comes to that. So the whole, oh, she left. You don't know what she did when she left. This whole type of thing. I mean, like it's something that everybody thinks about. But of course, me being the person I was, and I was in love with Amy. And of course, I trust her and everything like that. I basically came down to the fact where I told my dad, she's coming back, or I'll just find, it came to a point where I was like, oh, I'll just find somewhere to go, rent an apartment or whatever the case may be. If you don't accept her back, I understand this and that. Because of course, if it's not my house, whatever they say goes, So I was put in a very tough situation, and we were young, man. I was like, what, maybe like 17 or 18. I just got out of high school. I was put in a very tough situation. It took a long time for things to get back to somewhat normal.
Oh my God.
It was very awkward and it was very weird.
I remember
of course, to the day, like Amy knows that what she did wasn't. It could have been done differently, or it could have been solved differently, or everything could have been handled differently.
I feel like the reason why I did it was because I tried everything with you and nothing was working. Like it was just an argument. in back of an argument every single day of our lives. So it got to the point where we were good half of the day, and then the other half of the day we were constantly like going at it, like constantly. And I tried everything and nothing worked. And yeah, I shouldn't have given up, but I have been dealing with it for so long that all I wanted to do was just run away. And I learned from it.
I mean, I think that's the most important thing. Anything they do in life, at the end of the day, everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has their wrongs. Everybody has their own idea of how things should be. But as long as you learn from your mistakes and you learn from what you do, and it wasn't just something that happened from one day to the other. Like, it wasn't like it built up to that point. So
exactly. I didn't want to give up. Of course, I didn't want to give up, but yeah.
One of those cases where like it built up, and like it was like a daily thing, and like I don't blame her for leaving. Now, do I think things could have been handled differently? Of course, but I mean, it happened, and you're being really rude at the dinner table.
But yeah, guys, that was like our worst fight ever. We still have arguments here and there, of course. Everybody has arguments. You cannot sit here and say I'm perfect, because you're not. But everyone has arguments. We have arguments. What we just told you, like, is very personal. A lot of people that are gonna watch this.
But it's something that I feel like we learned from, and it made us stronger. Like, till this day, I don't think we've had an argument that severe.
No, that's serious. Yeah, no. But
probably because after that you got off birth control, and that's the other thing. She was on birth control, so her hormones were all over the fucking place. Like, she was asking to get snapped on every day, you know, type of thing.
So whoever does watch Jesus, you better leave me those 2 pizzas.
Those are yours.
Well, I was about to say, you've ate like 7.
No, I ate 4.
No.
Yes, I have. It's 5 and 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I can't believe you're arguing about pizza. You're such a fat. I'm not even gonna eat that.
A lot of people that are gonna watch this video don't know this information about us. Don't know, like, this is something very personal about us. And another thing is, you may think we're crazy to share this with you guys, but at the end of the day, this is what we do. We enjoy sharing these things with you guys, and I mean, this is not for everybody. Not everybody could do this. But wow, like, I don't feel relieved that we said that, but I do feel like we're sharing something big.
I feel comfortable, in other words, sharing it. So.
Yeah, I just feel like we did share something big with you guys, because that has been the biggest fight for we've been together 7 years, and that has been the biggest one. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the Ramos family channel, so if you're new here today, make sure that you click that subscribe button and click that bell notification button so that you can get notified whenever we upload a video.
And chances are, if you've gotten this far in the video, you either like it or you're being nosy as hell. So you might as well just go like and comment and do whatever you gotta do, right? You're already here.
We upload Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Except Saturdays and Sundays, because that's for
footage.
Yeah.
That's for footage and recording videos for you guys. But that is about it. Thank you once again so much for watching, and for joining us in story time. But we love you guys, and until next time, peace. Oh look, Sophia's putting her hands up.